What's up, guys? You got Minecraft by Sabrina, where our crafts are anything but square. Today I'm going to share how to convert color images. We're going to do it 3 different ways. We'll do stacked scans, we'll do 3D layered scans, and then we'll also have separate layer scans. We're going to again do this in both Inkscape and Design Space, so we have a lot to cover. Before we get started, if this is your first time to my channel, I want to welcome you. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button so you can get notified the next time I drop some feed. First, we're going to start in Inkscape, and we're going to start with stack scans. As you would with any project, you'll start off with your image, whether you're getting a free image online or you've downloaded one that you've purchased. You'll go ahead and save that image onto your desktop, and then we'll upload this image. Remember, if you're getting an image from online, you want to have a large image and you want to have an image where the colors are flat. So there's limited shadows and blending and all your colors are just one solid color. Now that we have our image, we'll open a new document in Inkscape and we'll drag and drop that file to import it. We'll leave the defaults on the import window and select OK, and then our image will be embedded into Inkscape. Now that our image is embedded, I'm going to click on my image and I want to count how many colors I have. I have 8 different colors in this image. So I'm going to go to Path and select Trace Bitmap. In the Trace Bitmap window, we'll use the bottom portion called Multiple Scans. The first thing you should do is click on the Live Preview button. That's going to allow you to see a preview of your trace. Then we'll select Colors. You can leave Smooth and Stack Scans checked, and then you can remove background if you do not have white as a layer. White is one of my colors, so I'm not going to remove background. Scans is going to equal the number of colors in your image. You'll notice that you can keep changing the number of scans, and your preview will start to show more and more colors in your image. You want to keep raising your number until you're happy with your trace preview. After you've successfully selected how many colors you have, you can select the OK button. Now when tracing, the stop button is going to become available. You can cancel the trace if you want. When the OK button appears again, then your image has completed and it's converted. I want to just make note of this because sometimes it happens so fast that you won't even notice it and then you think your trace didn't happen, but it does. Also note, your box will not close. So you have to close. When you close your trace bitmap, you may or you may not notice the differences. Keep an eye on the both. The SVG layers will sit on top of the original image. So you want to grab and drag to reveal that image. Now, if you want to confirm that your image is your SVG file versus your original picture, then you can select F2 on the keyboard or select your Edit Path by Nodes tool. If you hover over the image that you have selected, then you should see a red outline, and that's revealing your cut path. That tells you that this is your SVG file, so you can right-click on the original image and select Delete to remove that. Now that our SVG is created, we want to separate or ungroup our image so we can see each of our layers. So we're going to click on our image and select Object and then Ungroup. You'll now see that multiple layers are selected because it's now ungrouped. I'm going to zoom out and you'll see how each layer sits on top of each other. The file is now ready. So let's save our work and we're going to File, Save As, and give it a name. Remember, this type of scan is called a stacked scan because each layer sits on top of each other. If you recall, we checked that option in the Trace Bitmap window. Now we're going to go back to that step and we're going to see what happens if we uncheck that box. So we are going to do a separate scan or a do not stack file. So again, in Inkscape, we're going to count our colors and then we're going to go to Path, Trace Bitmap. Down in the multiple scan section, we're going to select colors, smooth, but this time we are going to uncheck the stacked scans button. Again, remove your background if you need to, and your scans should equal the number of colors, which again is 8. So I'm going to select OK. Now that our file is created, we're going to go back to the object menu and select Ungroup. You'll notice we have multiple layers selected. I'll zoom out and move those away. And now you can see how every layer is separate and none of them overlap. The file is now ready, so we're going to save our work and we're going to upload this into Design Space. In Design Space, we'll open a new project, select Upload from the left panel and Upload from the middle. We'll drag and drop our SVG file, and then we're going to give it a name and give it some tags. Please note, I did save both my stacked scans and my not stacked scans on the same file for one upload. Our image has uploaded. We'll select our image and insert that image into the map. So now we have all of our different layers in the file. If you notice closely, the black in the stacked scans is not as crispy or as full as the black in the separate scans. So you might want to play around with them and do a combination of them just to get the right results for your file. We'll now repeat the steps of creating a stack versus non-stack file in Design Space. We're going to do it 2 times because when using colored images, sometimes our colored image has an outline when other times it does not. Depending on whether it does or doesn't is going to depend on which process you choose. First, let's create a separate file using an image that has an outline. We'll open a new project in Design Space, select Upload on the left, Upload in the middle, drag and drop our file. I'm going to select that this is a complex image and then select Continue. We're going to clean up our image by selecting on the wand tool and clicking on all the black outlines. After you've selected the black outlines, you'll click on the preview button to see a preview of your image. If you have to make additional adjustments, click Hide Preview and make those adjustments as needed. Once you're done, you'll click on Continue. You're going to click on Save as a Cut Image. Name your file and give it some tags and select Save. We're going to see our image that is uploaded. We'll select our image and insert it into the project. I'm going to use the same exact upload to make a separate scan and a stacked scan. I'll select my image and click on the contour option. In contour, I'm going to select Hide All Contour. And this is going to leave just the first image visible, which is the back square. At least one layer has to be visible in our image. Then I'm going to select on the cupcake base in order to reveal that, and I'll select on the square in order to hide that. This is going to leave just my cupcake base. Before I close out on this window, I want to count how many colors or layers I'm going to have. I'm going to have 7 layers. So I'll close the hide contour and then I'm going to duplicate it that many times. I already have 1, I need 7, so I'm going to duplicate it 6 times. I'm going to select each layer one at a time and apply color to them by going to the fill option and selecting the color desired. After I've given them color, I'll select all and align it center. I'm going to click on one layer at a time and select the contour button. Based on the color, you want to click all the pieces that should show for that color. And then you want to click on the cupcake base to hide that color. So in this case, I'm going to click on the cherry to activate it, and then I'm going to click on the cupcake base to hide it. And you'll repeat this process of clicking on the frosting, clicking on the base to hide it, going to your next layer, clicking on the colors that should show and hide the base, and you'll repeat that for each color. Our file is now complete. We've created a multi-layer separate cut file. Now I call it a cut file versus an SVG like an Inkscape because this file cannot be saved, it cannot be shared, even though you just did all that hard work. Now we're going to do a stacked scan using an outlined image in Design Space. Again, remember we use the same exact file, so we're going to click on that, insert that into Design Space, and we want to count our colors, and then we want to duplicate it that many times and apply a color to each of those layers. After you've applied your color, we'll select all, we'll click on Align, and we're going to align it at the center. I'm going to select one layer or color at a time and click on the Contour button. And you're going to select the piece that should be visible. You'll have to do some thinking to figure out how they sit on top of each other in order for the right pieces to show both on top and beneath these layers. To be honest with you, I cheated. I didn't think. I simply used what it came out to be an Inkscape, and I hid contour accordingly. So in each color, you're going to go through and you're going to hide each layer or each piece of each layer as you need to. Now, because they're all aligned centered, as you hide things, you can see in the background how everything's changing and kind of decide if you're hiding things correctly. You'll see that now all of our layers are now stacked and they're sitting on top of each other. If I separate them, you can see that they are all individual. They will all layer on top of each other. Some parts are hollowed out. Now, again, you've created a cut file. It is not an SVG file because we cannot save or share this outside of Design Space. Now in Design Space, we're going to do a separate file with an image that does not have an outline. We'll open up Design Space. We're going to start a new project and click on Upload, Upload again, and we're going to drag and drop that image. I'm going to select Complex once again and select Continue. When you're working with an image that does not have an outline, you must upload this image multiple times, and you need to upload it one time per every color in your image. So what you're going to do is you're going to repeat all the steps. You're going to use your wand and you're going to select all the colors of that piece. In this case, I'm going to do black first, and I have my stem, and then I have all the lines at the bottom of my cupcake. I'm going to select next so that I can save this. I'm going to click Save as an Image, name it, and then repeat this for my next color. Next, I'm going to upload this image. I'm going to upload it for the red and the cherry. I'm going to click Continue, save it as a cut file, and I'm going to name it Cherry and click Save. Next, I'll upload it again for my blue frosting. I'll click on the frosting with my wand tool, click Continue, and save it as a cut image. Once again, clicking Save. Now we have our cupcake. We'll click on those three sections of cupcakes and click on Continue, save it as a cut file. We have our bow. We'll click on our bow with our wand, click Continue, and save this as a cut file. And last, we have the brown layer. We're going to click on all the brown pieces, select Continue, and save this as a cut file. Lastly, we are going to eliminate the entire background, and this is going to give us one solid layer. We'll name this as our outline and click on Save. So now you see each one of our files has uploaded. I'm going to click on every file and select Insert Images. Each piece is now seen on the map. I'll select one layer at a time and apply the appropriate color by going to the Fill menu and selecting each color. Next, I'll select all of my images and click on the Align Center feature. After my images are aligned, I'm going to select one layer at a time and click on the Contour button. I'm going to click on the back rectangle of each layer in order to hide that rectangle. closing the hide contour box in between each layer. So open up one layer at a time, hide the square on each one of those layers. In this layer, you notice I have these two specks here. I didn't catch this in the cleanup section. So you can hide these here so they don't cut in your bow. Continue this process until each layer is hidden and all your files are then complete. Now we're going to go from design space and we're going to create a stacked 3D image with this no outline image. Again, we do the same. We open design space. We're going to upload our file by dragging and dropping. And then I'm going to go ahead and select it's a complex image and click on continue. Again, just like in the last process, you must upload each color at a time. And when you do this, you need to think about it in a 3D stacking kind of way. So which layer is going to sit on top of each other in order to reveal the next or the previous layer? In this case, I'm going to stack from back to front, black, white, red, blue, tan, brown, and then finally yellow. First things first, we're going to use our wand tool and we're going to select the white space, leaving the entire cupcake base. Click on preview to see what it looks like. Hide preview to return back to color and adjust as needed. Click on continue when done and save it as a cut image. Name and tag and then click save to save your file. Remember, you're going to do this for each color. So now we'll do the white layer. We're going to click on our wand tool, select on the white space, click on the black stem, and then now we'll go ahead and click on preview. This should leave everything except the stem. But notice that there's an outline on the stem. So here we're going to go back to our image and we're going to use the eraser button in order to clean up that stem. We'll go back to preview and see our image. And I can see it's now clean. We're going to go ahead and click on continue, save it as a cut image, name it white because this is our white layer, and click on. Follow this process with the red layer, clicking on our wand. We're going to click our white, click our black, and this time we're going to click on the white inside the little cherry. Check out our preview. I can see that that stem is there again. So I'm going to go back, click that eraser button, erase that up, check my preview out. Preview looks good. I'm going to go ahead and click on continue. Save this as a cut image. I'm going to name it red because it's my red file and click on save. Continue this process with my next layer, which is blue. Again, using that wand tool, we'll select the white space, select the black. We're going to select our entire cherry this time, and this should leave just the frosting down. Click on that preview icon. Notice that stem is still there and some of that cherry, so we're going to go back to our image, select on that eraser, clean up that file there, click on preview. It looks great. We'll go ahead and continue. Click save as a cut image. Give it a name, give it some tags, and save. Now we're on our tan. Again, using that wand, we're going to click on the white. We'll click on the black, eliminate our cherry and our blue, and now we should just have the frosting on down. Click on preview. You want to make sure it's clean, and it's not. We'll go back to our image and select the eraser, and we'll go ahead and clean that image up. Go back to your preview. It's now nice and clean. We can go ahead and save this layer. I'm going to save it as tan, save it as a cut image, and then go ahead and click on save. Now we have our brown layer. Again, we're going to click on the wand, click on the white area, click on black, click on red, click on blue. We're going to click on all three of those tan areas, and then we're going to check out our preview and see what it looks like. Again, we have some extra stuff here, so we'll go back to our image, click on that eraser, and clean all that up. Click on preview. I can see it's nice and clean. We're going to click continue, save it as a cut image, name it brown, give it some tags, and click save. Now we have our yellow section. I'm going to click that wand button once again and start eliminating each color by clicking on each color that is not needed and leaving just my yellow color. I'm not even going to click on preview because I can already see that there's a lot of dirtiness in here. I'm going to click on that erase button and clean that all up, leaving just my image. Select preview, it looks nice and clean. Then we're going to go ahead and save that as a cut file. Name it yellow, give it some tags, and click on save. After saving each time, you'll see your files appear here. You're going to select all of your imported images and click on Insert Images. You're going to click on each layer and apply the color accordingly. Remember, when we uploaded each layer, I named each one the color of that layer. So when I got to this step, all I had to do was look at the name and give it the color accordingly. I'm going to select everything except my yellow bow. I'm going to click on Align, and I'm going to first center vertically, and then click on Align again, and then center at the bottom. This is going to bring all my layers together, and then I'll move my bow into place. So here we have a project that is stacked in 3D using the created file. To achieve the 3D look, I cut the file 2 times and I layered them with 3D foam tape on each side of the black layer. Here is a sample of a final project with the stacked layer file that we created. When creating the stacked layers, you can see that I had 6 different layers, and when you set them all on top of each other, they create this stacked layers look. Now I decided that I didn't need all the extra lines inside the frosting, and they were just not worth the hassle of me trying to align them. So I cut all those pieces off of my stacked layer. And then even after I put all of those pieces together, I decided I just didn't want to fight with the black cardstock, and I turned around and I cut it out of vinyl. I should mention, I completely hate working with stacked layers like this, or with just an outline layer like this. The only time I think outlines are good is if you're using it for an HTV file. Other than that, throw them out the window. And finally, we have a project using that separate layers file that we created. This is going to be your standard go-to kind of file. So that's all I got for you guys today. I want to thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you like this content so I can keep bringing you more. And if you found this video helpful, please share it with a craft or friend and hashtag quarantine training.